We are back and we are stronger than ever. It's been about 2 weeks since we last talked. Yeah, a lot of stuff's been going on. Like I just said, I cut my hair. And the thing is with cutting your hair, I'll just say this as a guy because I can't speak for the woman. Um, it feels like every time I want to go get my hair cut, the day of, I'm like, it looks pretty fine. It looks good to me. I don't need to cut it. Those are usually, the days that it takes you a couple times to get through that. It's like, I'll just style it how it is. It's fine. And then like a couple weeks go by, like, dang, I should have just got mine cut. And I was doing that for at least 6 months. I wanted to cut my hair. And it was just finally time. And I went there and she's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't really want to cut it. And I almost like walked away. But at the place I went to, you have to prepay before you go, which is kind of a pain because they do that so people don't cancel. And I was kind of like, dang, if I just go there, maybe get like a trim or something, get a shampoo. Yeah, I went to like some bougie place. And not to say like I'm a bougie person or anything, but in that sense, it definitely was a bougie haircut. It's like $45, I think 50 with tip, which is haircuts are getting expensive. I'm all for what barbers do. It's an art. I understand it's an occupation, a profession, and there's levels to it. But to be honest with you, I'm anything over $65, I'm not doing. I respect your guys' art, but my head, I'm not spending $65 on for a haircut. Over $65. If it's 65 with the tip and you traveled far, okay, that makes sense. But I do understand what it's like to go to a barber and they won't mess up. That is also very nice to have in your back pocket. It's a very good luxury to have, I think. But in my case, I kind of just roll the dice. I go somewhere kind of nice, and I've been going to more. I mean, since my hair is longer, I don't really go to the barbers because barbers just do like fades or tapers and stuff like that, which is essentially what I get. But sometimes when it comes to like keeping the hair on the top, some barbers aren't. They're not gonna do that. They usually just like they'll be like, oh, you want a fade on the sides, or something. I'll be like, yeah, and they'll buzz the top of my head, and they'll like try to like make it like a fade. I'm not trying to do that. As I'm getting older, hair's already kind of dissipating in some spots. I'm not trying to take it out. And I think, I'm lucky with my hair. I mean, right now it could be worse. But here's the thing: if I started losing hair, I'd go to Turkey and I'd get the transplant or whatever it is. I would go do it, and I would document it. I would tell people how it went. But I'm really attached to my hair, and a lot of people are. That's why they say, like what I was just saying earlier, when you cut your hair, you lose a lot of energy, and maybe some people need it. Maybe some people need to let go of some things. I know people are just. It's that time of year. It's the fall season. Holidays coming up. Lots of things going on. Since we last talked, I've been drawing a little bit more. I hope everybody who's creative has been kind of keeping their creative outlooks going. I just finished a Formula Line crab design, which was really, really hard because it was interesting to do. And if you don't know what Formula Line is, it's like a art style that they use in Northwest Coast. It primarily comes from Shimshan, Tlingit, and Haida. And then, you go farther down, then there's Salish. And then you have, if you don't go too far, but right before that, you have Kawakwak or Kawakiwak. Their art style is kind of similar to Formula Line, follows similar principles and looks similar. Then you go to Northern Salish, and then you have Southern Salish. So there's like 4 different types. There are many different types. And there's also Northwest inspired too. Like some people like follow some of the guidelines and principles. But yeah, the crab was interesting because I've seen a couple people do some crab designs, and I really wanted to do my own. And I feel like when I look at like a whale, a raven, a eagle, a thunderbird, a bear, a wolf, like those are easy for me to kind of do at this point in my head, where I'm like, okay, I kind of know the structure of how this is going to go. With the crab, I did that one because it was kind of a challenge to figure out what I was gonna do with the arms and the pinchers. So that was pretty fun to do. Pretty proud of that. I might be posting it. I don't really know. I mean, I already post on here, but yeah, the next piece I'm gonna do is gonna be it's gonna be a fish. So it's gonna be another marine animal, and it's gonna be a deep water fish. I mean, you guys have probably seen it before, but I'm gonna do an angler fish. The one that you see on Nemo when they're really deep down in the water. That's the one I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be trippy. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I have an idea of how it's going to look, and I'm pretty sure people have done anglerfish. Don't get me wrong, but I overheard that in the Burke Museum here in Seattle, they have some of the most extensive research on anglerfish because they're really there's a lot of them here in the Pacific Northwest. So that was pretty cool, and it's probably because we're right next to the Pacific Ocean. I mean, that definitely helps, but to know how much anglerfish information they have there is pretty cool. So I think I'd want to design one of those. But yeah, things have been going good. You know, I've been praying to be a blessing. You know, that's something I've been kind of switching. I heard that from Nick Saban. He used to be the coach at the University of Alabama. He would say, you know, everybody's always asking to be blessed every day. Like, you know, I want to be blessed. I want to be blessed by this person. I want this thing to bless me. I want this job to bless me. But instead of kind of looking back and seeing how you could be a blessing as well, you know, how is someone supposed to bless you if you're not blessing? You know, you're not being the blessing. I don't know if I'm not really like a pastor or a sermon, and this isn't church or anything, but I thought that was a good thing to kind of go by. Everyone's always asking to be blessed, but how about you be the blessing to somebody? Because how are they supposed to bless you back if you're not even being a blessing to them? I don't know if it's that, you know, it's a lot more simpler. He said it a lot better. But yeah, that's something that's been on my mind, because I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. You know, there is global warming's happening. There's natural disasters. There's actual disasters. There's also good things going on in the world. On the news, they highlight all the things that are, you know, not really good. It's click. You know, I feel like with Hurricane Milton, there's a lot of like, I feel like news channels get like weirdly excited. It feels like when something happens, because they get like a jump in numbers and coverage, and like there's like false like pictures being put up on news things. And don't get me wrong, I'd like to think that like 90% of them are just genuinely posting news, but it feels like sometimes like there's like this weird like, oh, we're gonna get views from this. And I think that's where I was talking to you guys about the form line crab design. I was like, you know, like I feel like this design was made in a time of, you know, me just trying to do something that I enjoyed, and there was no, what do you think? I've sent it to a handful of people and said, what do you think? Or like, hey, look how this is coming along, to people who like that matter in my life. But, you know, when you start putting things out there, you know, people can take things certain ways. You know, they call it the evil eye. I know that's really cheesy, but it's true. Like, you put yourself on vacation, someone's gonna be like, oh, on his third vacation, huh? Oh yeah. Whose money did he use this time? Was it the tribes or the other tribes' money? You know, like a lot of people, you know, the evil eye starts creeping in. You know, someone can be like, oh yeah, I'm going to the conference to, you know, learn some things, go meet some people with connections, and maybe we can do something of our own when I come back. You know, someone with the evil eye would be like, you're just going there to see your ex. You know, like that's usually how it happens. I think that's like most of the time. Like I said before, you know, I'm on the other side of 25 now, about to be 27 here soon. And after I turn 25, the invitations to conferences just start hitting your inbox or in person. You could be sitting there eating at some random restaurant. You know, a native you don't even know going to be like, hey, you should go to this conference down in Arizona. Yeah. I think it would be a good networking opportunity. I don't want to go. Everyone's always trying to be like, oh, you should come here, come here. I'm not trying to go to no conference. You're only going to the conference to see your ex. You're not going for no language. You're not even on the gaming commission. Why are you going down to Vegas? You know, there's all those people. You know, there's people who do business and, you know, that are in gaming, and it kind of makes sense. Gaming as in tribal gaming, which is like casino gaming. And here's my opinion on G2E or on the gaming conventions at Vegas. Hey, I understand, you know, gaming, you need gaming to have funding for your tribe or for your thing. But I'll be honest, it's like, hey, we just make the percentages pretty high so no one wins and we get a good profit. I mean, what do we got to review? I feel like sometimes these conferences are just like, let's just go spend some money, send some people who with our tribes, you know, our stuff on, and then go represent. And hey, that's fine. But, you know, don't lie. You know, oh, I went down to this gaming convention and I'm going to come back to the tribe and I'm going to go to the board of directors and I'm going to pitch things that we should do. You didn't go down there for that. Why don't you ever come to the meetings that are up here and local? Why do you always got to go across the country on the tribe's money? You know? A lot of people always want to say that, too. Oh, we went down to Vegas again, huh? Well, how do you afford it this time? Was it his money or the tribe's money? Who'd he bring with him this time? Only 15 of his kids? Oh, you know, I feel like that's a sore subject. A lot of people may be like, dang, Dom, you're being really apprehensive. You're coming at the people who are going down to these conferences and they're trying to get funding for you. And you're sitting here complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying what these people will be doing too. Like, I understand, hey, yeah, you know, 80% of them probably actually going to do their thing. And I'm being generous with that 80% too. I could have said 60, but I said 80 just for the sake of this. 80% of them just going down there to schmooze around. Yeah. And you know how I know that most of these people are going down to Vegas for these conferences to schmooze around? Because they go alone. Yeah, they don't bring the kids. They don't bring their wife or girlfriend. They don't bring their husband. They just go alone. Oh, you're going to go down to Vegas for 4 days on your own? And you're real busy? And I got to stay here with the kids? We're coming. We're coming to Vegas with you. Circus is still there. You could bring the kids. I could use the week off. You know, everyone, you know, and that's why it was like, I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was in local, my mom used to be on the commission here in our tribe. And, you know, when you have a relative or a cousin on the board of anything, fishing, hunting, gaming, board in general, anything, you have some perks. And let's just be honest, they're there. You know, I'll be honest, there was a time in my life I was granted the luxury of getting the leftovers after the board meetings as my mom would bring them home to me. And sometimes, I'll be honest, they had some good stuff. But that was probably like the highest perk I got. The second coolest perk I think about knowing somebody who is on like a board of director or a leadership position in a tribe is sometimes the board says, you know, we're going to go hold this conference at the Great Wolf Lodge. And I got to go one time and my mom was working during the day, and we got to go to Great Wolf Lodge. That was a win-win. That's about as far as my perks went, as I'm on being on the commission at the time, and that was cool to me. And it happens. They say in politics, like half the side wins and half the side loses, or whatever you want to say. Whatever side of election people win, the other side's upset. Oh, the Democrats won this year. Now the Republicans are mad this year. I think in tribal politics, it's like 90% of the people are upset and 10% of the people are okay with it. And that's the truth. People say, oh, what do you mean by the 10%? Who are those 10%? The 10% of people of the tribe that are happy of those people who won are the family. Yeah. Oh, what do you think of the new board of director? Oh, I don't like him. Yeah, he bullied me in high school. Yeah, their friend cut my sister's hair in 3rd grade, and now they want to elect them. I'm not voting for them. I'm voting someone else. That you start asking people random things. Oh, why don't you? Well, in 4th grade, his brother tailgated my cousin. Yeah, hit and ran. They were 16, but they should have known better. Everybody on the res will be holding a grudge for a long time. I'm telling you. Yeah, we were Halloween trick-or-treating together one time, and they swapped my bag with theirs. I was in 3rd grade. I'm not voting for them. Yeah. We went up to their auntie's get-together. They told me to come along. We get there. There's no fry bread left. How are you going to invite someone over and not have... I'm not voting for them. Tribal politics be deep, man. Yeah, I saw him watching Frozen 2 with his kids. There ain't no way he could afford bringing all those kids to the movies on his own dime. He's probably embezzling. People start using the craziest excuses to not vote for somebody. Yeah, we were volunteering our time trying to change some nets down at the courts, and he tried getting the cheap nets. Wouldn't even fork over the extra $5 for the chain. Said the chains get rusty. More like you can't afford it on your own dime. Yeah, you didn't bring the company card with him. It's insane, man. It's, pardon the chair. That's my creaky chair behind me. Yeah, the chair is going to be on its last leg. You know what? After this episode, I hope people hold me accountable to this. I'm buying a new chair. Yeah, I'm just going to go on Amazon. I'm just going to order one. I don't even really care at this point. But yeah, man, the conferences are happening, and people are very much talking about it and making it apparent that they go. Yeah, a native went to a conference because within the first sentence of talking to them, they've already told you which ones they've been to. Yeah, I was just down in Arizona. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was down at a conference. All right. My tribe didn't send us this year. Just rubbing it in. People always want to rub it in, too. No, but actually, though, there's probably actually some good things that happen at conference. I've never been. So that's another thing, too. I'm hating from outside the club. I've never been to a conference yet. Officially. I've been to, like, a summit. Like, as a youth, you go to the summits. Oh, we're going to go to this summit. This is what's going on. We're going to hang out, do some workshops. But I've never been to a conference yet. And I'd like to think that the summit and conferences, they're night and day difference. Because you don't start getting invited to the conferences until you start hitting that age. 25 and over, you're getting invited to the next closest conference. And I don't know what it is, but you're going to be invited to it. Language, gaming, weather, climate, bullying. What's another good one? Emissions, hunting, fishing. there's so many conferences I feel like at this point, and I want to go. So if you guys know a cool one that I could go, invite me. I'll go to a conference. I won't sit there and talk. God gave us, or Creator. You got to say that too, because you say God, some people start tuning you out. God, you got to say Creator sometimes, because sometimes people will tune you out. I know I just said that twice. But God, Creator gave us 2 ears for a reason. I'll go to a conference and I'll listen, man. 2 ears and 1 mouth. And that's so you can listen more than you talk. And I feel like I talk quite a bit. And I feel like sometimes with this pod, it's easier to ramble. But I've been trying to get better at just listening first. I have a bad habit of interrupting people. And not because I'm like bored of their thought. I just want to get mine out before I forget it. And I got to remember that just because I'm trying to get a thought out, or I think it's funny, that I just got to wait. But sometimes here with comedy, timing is everything. And I got to remember, like, hey, this is a conversation. I'm not trying to make people laugh. There was a time years ago, I go to therapy. It was, I'd be like, oh, this is what I'm trying to work on. And half the time, 75% of the time, actually, I was sitting there trying to make the therapist laugh. And the therapist like kind of picked it up, and they're like, oh, why are you doing that? And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to share that because that was like $60 an hour. So you guys can go pay your own $60 an hour to figure out that lesson. Maybe I don't need to make people laugh all the time. Maybe I can just listen. I guess that was something I learned. We all learn things in different times. That's for sure. What else has been going on in the world? Oh, yeah. The thing is with therapy, too. I'm just going to give this, for anybody who's actually out there struggling with mental health, I hope that you can find the help you need, because I think therapy is a good thing for anybody. You don't have to be down bad to go. There could be some traumas that you're working on from years ago. But here's the thing I want to remind you, and I want to tell you this now, and this is the hard truth. You're going to go to, I'll give you 2 things. You're going to go to therapy, and you're going to think as soon as you go in there and you tell everything, it's going to fix all your problems. It's not. It's definitely going to help it, and you're going to have some opinions of people who don't know or have any backstories, so that is definitely going to help. So don't go in there thinking you're going to spill everything out and you're going to feel better. Like, when you throw up and you just feel better after, 10 minutes after, you're like, dang, I still feel sick. That's literally what happens. But you're healing. Second thing is, your therapist may leave or break up with you, or like essentially like say you're good. So that's just a heads up. I've known some people who've had a therapist for forever. Like it's like since they were a kid, and that's amazing. You know what else I heard? In a school district that my I don't remember how this came up, but in a school district around here, they have therapists for kids on campus for kids in K through 5. I thought that was pretty cool. And you know what? We had counselors, we had liaisons. Don't let me say oh, I had it so hard, because that's not the truth. But they had like a licensed therapist there to talk to kids that would pull them out during class and be like, hey, what's going on? And people want to say, oh, this generation's soft. No, dude, sometimes these kids are going through crazier stuff than you have even in your life. There are some people in this world, I'll be honest, that the most hardest thing in their life so far has not been getting into the college they wanted to, or their parents divorcing, or, there's some people who've been out here that have witnessed the most tragic things, or have gone through the most tragic things at a kid's age. And then they're expected to answer what year Christopher Columbus got here to the U.S. That kid don't care, dude. The kid's thinking about what they're going to eat when they get home. Honestly, So I think it's good that these school districts are starting to put therapists in there. I know it's not all of them, but it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, we had somebody call in saying they were going through a hard time. And hard times, they happen. I was going to play it on here. But they said don't play it. But I know it's like the change of seasons. I know People aren't taking their vitamins. They're not getting outside because it's not as hot. They're not eating right. That's the 5 things that I think you should do. And I'm just going to make these up for you. If you're having a hard time, get some exercise, take a shower, eat good food, do something you thoroughly enjoy, and try to change your mindset in a sense of, oh, I hate going to work. Be like, well, at least I get to go to work today and make some money so I can pay these bills. Try doing those 5 things. And if you're still depressed, that's like another level. I'm telling you, physical activity, hygiene, eating good food, and good food is also different than food you enjoy. That is definitely, you know what? I had a can of 7-Up. I love 7-Up. I haven't been feeling good. My stomach's actually been giving me some problems. I grabbed a can of 7-Up, took a drink of it, looked at the can. It's 120 calories per can. Nothing wrong with having calories. Nothing wrong with drinking a pop. But I looked at it as, that's about 1.5 miles walking on a treadmill, calorie-wise. So is this can of 7-Up worth 1.5 hours of my time on a treadmill? No. So I drank the water I had, and I felt a little bit better. But dude, sometimes I like the bubbles, so I'm a sparkling water guy. So I understand people are gonna have some hard times coming up. It's the depression starts creeping in, around this time of the season. But you know what? I think the fall is a magical time. I think it has the holidays. It's Halloween. I think is my favorite. Halloween is definitely my favorite holiday. I think Halloween's fun, dude. I just like the theme, dude. I like the spooky theme. Like if I could be in a holiday all year round, it would definitely be Halloween. And I don't know if there's any implications of Halloween being a bad thing. I don't know. Obviously it has the creepy vibes, but I just love everything about Halloween. The colors, the costumes, the treats, the tricks, the caramel apples, the pumpkins. It's a cool time of year. And not a Thanksgiving fan, obviously. So I'm just going to put that one out there. Also, Christmas is pretty commercialized now. Easter, not an Easter guy either. Valentine's Day probably maybe third. I'd probably put, so I'd go Halloween. I guess I would go Halloween. And if you want to count Indigenous Peoples Day, that counts. So I guess that would be 2. 3 would be Martin Luther King Day. Shout out to Martin Luther King. And those would probably be my favorite holidays. Definitely. So to recap, my favorite holidays got to be Halloween, Indigenous Peoples Day, and Martin Luther King Day. Those are my top 3 holidays. All the other holidays, kind of mid. Easter, I am not a Peep fan. Not really the religious part of it. Christmas, commercialized now. Thanksgiving, obviously, we know why I don't like Thanksgiving. I guess Labor Day is cool. We get, some time off. Veterans Day, that's a good one too. 4th of July, I guess 4th of July is up there too. St. Patrick's Day has got to be at the bottom. Valentine's Day, probably number 5 maybe. Oh, New Year's. New Year's is pretty cool too. So yeah, I guess top 5 would go Halloween, Indigenous Peoples Day, Martin Luther King Day, New Year's, and Veterans Day. Just because, shout out to the veterans. But yeah, this has been episode 171. So I'll see you guys next time. Wait.